150,000 people in the blistering, relentless heat of Goiânia. They turned up for a race they hadn't seen in decades. And what did they get? They got delays. They got emergency track repairs. They got a race distance shortened even before the lights went out. And somehow, it was still the most brilliant thing I've seen all year. Welcome to Brazil Round 2. Let's talk about why MotoGP just had a midlife crisis in South America. Welcome back to the Art of Motor Racing. I'm Akshay. If you're new here, we don't do dry summaries. We do the stories, the scandals, and the telemetries. So buckle up.
Perez goes off the track, off goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton!
The Autódromo Internacional de Goiânia is named after Ayrton Senna in racing terms. That's like naming a stadium after a god. The romance of MotoGP returning to Brazil, it's unmatched. Brazilian fans, they don't just attend a race, they inhabit it. But the track, it was a total stranger. No modern data, no reference point. And Michelin, they showed up with a conservative bag of tires because, frankly, nobody knew if the asphalt was going to provide grip or it will just turn into marbles. 2.3 miles, short, tight, and fast. Laps were clicking off at 1 minute 17 seconds. It's a rhythmic, beautiful layout, but underneath that rhythm, the surface was starting to hum a very different tune. Friday morning, it gave us rain delay, which scrambled the data and left everyone guessing. When the damp settled. Johann Zarco was fastest. Now I love Zarco, we all love Zarco, but usually when the Friday headline is Zarco quickest, means the universe is glitching. It was the first sign that the grip levels were, let's just say, experimental. Saturday, it brought the sun and chaos. Turn 4. It became the most expensive piece of real estate in Brazil. Bagnaia, Acosta, Marc Marquez, Jorge Martin. Everyone was paying the Turn 4 tax. When 4 of the best riders in the world make the exact same mistake at the exact same spot, the track isn't just difficult, it's talking to you. Through the carnage, Fabio Di Giannantonio, he delivered 1 minute 17.4 for pole. DJ on top. Bez, he was alongside him. Marc, he was lurking around in third. The grid, it looked unpredictable, which was fitting because the track, it was literally falling apart. Now here is where it gets weird. Qualifying ends and a section of the main straight decides it had enough of 350 horsepower bikes, started breaking up. Suddenly, the spotlight isn't on the riders, it's on the track workers. With saws and quick dry cement, sprint gets pushed back. Jorge Martin, he just shrugged it off, saying it wasn't on the racing line, but he could smell the nerves in the paddock. This was supposed to be a statement weekend for Brazil. Instead, it was a DIY project. To be fair, they fixed it. The sprint went ahead, and it was good. But here's the thing, this was supposed to be a MotoGP triumphant return in Brazil. Liberty Media was there, the cameras were on, the main straight had a hole in it. But let's forget it, and now go back to the racing. Sprint race. It was a Marc Marquez masterclass. DJ, he got a great launch, looking very comfortable, looking like the pole sitter he was. But Marc Marquez, he didn't panic, he didn't dive bomb, he just existed, followed him closer every lap. And as we all know, it was inevitable. DJ just made one tiny mistake, and that was enough. Marc made his move, measured clinical sprint win. Martin, he took third, a real moment for the 2024 world champion. And Fabio Quartararo, he finished sixth, giving Yamaha fans a dangerous thing called hope. Spoiler alert, don't get used to it. Now Sunday morning warm-up, Bezzecchi goes fastest. Omnius also in warm-up DJ crashes. Morbidelli crashes. Acosta crashes. Turn 4 again, still collecting victims on Sunday morning. And then, 5 minutes before the race was due to start, race direction makes an announcement. The race is being cut from 31 laps to 23 laps. Track degradation at turn 11 and 12. The asphalt is coming off. No further explanation. Riders on the grid, locked into their tire choices, can't even change anything now. The grid auto was set. The tactics, everything was gone. 23 laps. Michelin, they were very clear afterwards. The tires weren't the issue, the track was. Martin would later say debris was hitting his fairing throughout the race in a Grand Prix on a Sunday afternoon. The race shortened before it had even begun. Lights out, and Marco Bezzecchi, he just nails the start. He takes the lead from turn 1 and proceeds to turn the Brazilian Grand Prix into private track day. He was just untouchable, while everyone behind him was fighting for their lives. Bez, he was just gone. Now behind the leader, it was a bar fight. Jorge Martin, he was reading the track perfectly, looking like the only guy who understands the grip. Paco, well, let's just say he had another don't ask me, I just work here kind of a weekend. He struggled through the pack and eventually washed out. Where? I guess you guessed it right. Turn 4. The real show, it was DJ versus Marquez. Proper old school racing. No room, tight lines, late lunges. Marquez, he got the upper hand, but a very rare mistake, it opened the door for DJ. He snatched the podium back, and he absolutely earned it the hard way. Final tally, it was Bezzecchi, Martin, and DJ. And Quartararo, he finished 16th. Whatever hope Saturday gave, Sunday took it back with interest. Let's look at the bigger picture. Marco Bezzecchi, back-to-back wins. He isn't chasing the standards anymore. He is the standard. Aprilia, it looks like the most complete bike on the grid right now. And given the results and the recent Ducati struggle, it looks like it is the fastest package on the grid. Between the F1 race in China and this weekend in Goiânia, we are seeing a lot of fragile racing. Max Verstappen, he called F1 a Nintendo game, and in MotoGP, the riders, they were essentially playing floor is lava. In Yamaha, they are talking about a new engine philosophy, a new direction, but right now, they're just moving backwards at a very high speed. You can't win a world championship on Saturday hopes alone. Pedro Acosta, he finished 7th. The championship lead, it's gone. Bezzecchi leads by 11 points. KTM had no answers at Goiânia. He needs Cora to be kinder. I would like to say something about Goiânia, and it goes beyond racing. The circuit itself, the layout, the barrels, the challenge it gave to the riders. It was genuinely good. And it's not just me who's saying that. Everyone is saying so. The sprint, it was brilliant. The race, it was very entertaining, regardless of the chaos. Even in just the 23 laps they managed to deliver. But flooding, a sinkhole, a race shortened at the last minute, asphalt disintegrating, debris on the track in a Grand Prix, these are not teething issues. This is a circuit being asked to hold a world championship round, without the infrastructure to safely do so. The trackhouse boss said it directly after the race, MotoGP cannot afford this if the championship wants to grow. Liberty Media was watching, and Buenos Aires is next year. The message has to get through because those fans, they showed up in numbers that most European circuits they would kill for it. They were brilliant all weekend, loud, passionate, absolutely committed to the sport. 150,000 people showed up. They came for a Grand Prix. They deserved a track that could hold together for 31 laps. They were promised for when they were sold those tickets. Instead, they got a compromised race on a surface that wasn't even ready for prime time. Fans in Brazil, 10 on 10. The energy was 10 on 10. Track surface, let's just give it a 4.5 for trying. You can't have the best riders in the world on a compromised product. Next stop, Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, place where Marc Marquez usually treats to feel like his own personal assistant. But it's been 4 long years since he last dominated that circuit. That top step of the horsepower radio, it's still eluding him. If he wins there, if the king of Kora finally reclaims his throne, the championship is going to be wide open. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with a friend who's tired of all the chaos. I'll see you in Texas. Bye bye, take care.